Nomenclature. Nomenclature of drugs. So what do you mean by nomenclature? Nomenclature is a systematic naming of drugs. So consider a person or a company have discovered a chemical entity into a drug. So that drug should be named according to the some rules. So once that entity is identified as a drug or a medicine or a medication, that one name should be given. That naming process, we call it as nomenclature. So nomenclature is a systematic naming of drugs. Generally, it is very complex process as it involves the needs of many stakeholders like patients, pharmaceutical firms, physicians, regulators, etc. So needs of many stakeholders will be involved in naming of a drug. So the systematic naming of drug is very complex. It involves many things. Generally, typically a drug will have three names. One is chemical name, one is chemical name, next is generic name, and the third name is trade name. So generally or typically a drug will have three names: chemical name, general name, and trade name. So all of these names will have three parts. Means a name will have generally three parts, that is prefix, interfix, and suffix. The first two parts, prefix, the first part, interfix, the middle part of the name, suffix is the stem of the name. So these two will show no pharmacological significance of the drug. They are just used for separation of the drug from other drugs. Suffix has pharmacological value, means it indicates the category of the drug. Last stem of the drug will indicate the drug belonging to which class, right? So three parts where name of a drug is prefix, interfix, and suffix. Next, first we'll talk about its chemical name. Once a drug is identified as a medicine, a name should be given. That name we call it as a chemical name. It is generally given by the medicinal chemists or scientists who have developed the drug into a medicine. So that name will be given in accordance with the rules established by IUPAC, that is International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. It has some rules to name a drug, that is IUPAC rules. International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. So according to this IUPAC, it has established some rules to name a drug. So in accordance with the rules of this system, IUPAC system, the chemical name will be given to a drug who have identified it into a medicine. It may be a some person or a pharmaceutical firm, right? That name is called as IUPAC name, or as it follows rules of IUPAC system, it is also named as IUPAC name. Chemical name or IUPAC name. It is generally very long and complex, cannot be remembered by common people. So in order to remember this name, chemical name, the name should be shortened. That short name we call it as generic name. As a chemical name is very long and complex, it cannot be remembered by common people. So other name, the short name which will be very concise and meaningful, other name will be given to the drug. That name we call it as a generic name, right? So the chemical name is the name given by the chemist or a scientist who have identified and developed the drug into a medicine according to the rules of IUPAC. So that name is also called as IUPAC name. It is generally very long and complex, cannot be remembered by common people. It depends upon the structural features involved in the drug. So the drug is made up of some molecules. So depending upon the arrangement of molecules or number of molecules or number of atoms, the name is given. That name we call it as a chemical name. When it follows the IUPAC rules, that name is also called as IUPAC name. So as it is very long and complex, short name should be given, which can be remembered by all. So that name we call it as generic name. The generic name, it is a short name which have no proprietary rights. generic name will have no proprietary rights, so that name is also called as non-proprietary name or common name. Generic name or common name or non-proprietary name, it has no proprietary rights. It should be concise and meaningful, which will be remembered by common people. And that generic name should start with lowercase. It should not start with capital letter. It should be start with lowercase or lower alphabets, right? So this generic name generally indicates the suffix of a name. Means the suffix will indicate the generic name of a drug, right? So this generic name have generally two classes. One is approved name. So this approved name will be given by national formularies. National formularies of different countries. Different countries will have different national formularies to give a generic name to a drug. So once a person or a pharmaceutical company develop a drug into medicine, to give a generic name, they can approach their country's national formulary bodies. They can approach them to get a generic name to the drug which they have identified. So each country will have each national formulary body. Some of them are Australian approved name, United States approved name or adopted name, United States adopted name, British approved name, Brazilian accepted name, Japanese accepted name, etc. In short, they are called as USAN, BAN, etc. Right? So these are the national formulary bodies of different countries which are meant for to give a generic name to a drug which have developed. So a person or a pharmaceutical firm can approach the national formulary body of a specific country to get a generic name to the drug who have they identified. So according to USAN and BAN, generally we follow United States and British approved name. So according to these two systems, some of the examples are for paracetamol. Example for the drug of paracetamol, according to USAN, it is named as generic name. It is named as acetaminophen. And according to British approved name or accepted name, so it is named as paracetamol. So according to BAN, it is named as paracetamol. According to AN, it is termed as acetaminophen. So the same drug will have two different generic names or common names. So these are considered as approved names. Or some persons or pharmaceutical firms can approach this national formulary bodies, or they can also approach WHO INN program list. Means they can also approach WHO, World Health Organization, to get a generic name list. They have INN name list. INN indicates International Non-Proprietary Name List. So one can approach either national formulary bodies or they can also approach WHO. So according to WHO, it has some list of generic names which are also named as International Non-Proprietary Name List. So from that, one can get the generic name to a drug which they have identified or which have they developed. So according to WHO INN program, we have some list of the names, right? So WHO INN, International Non-Proprietary Name List, STEM, class, examples. So STEM indicates the suffix of the name. The name of a drug is ending with or the suffix is vir. It belongs to the class antiviral drugs. So examples of antiviral drugs, acyclovir, ritonavir. So this vir indicates the suffix. It indicates ritonavir, prefix and interfix. So this vir indicates a suffix, the last name of the drug. That is considered as a stem or suffix. It belongs to the category antiviral. Some of the examples are given acyclovir and ritonavir. And other examples, Cillin. If the name is ending with Cillin, consider it belongs to the class penicillins. So examples, carbenicillin, amoxicillin, etc. Right? Next, Lucast. Lucast. So this belongs to the category leukotriene antagonist drugs. Leukotriene receptor antagonists. Examples, montelukast, zafirlukast, it belongs to the category of drugs which antagonize the leukotriene receptor, right? Next is olol, belongs to the class beta blockers, propranolol, etinolol, propranolol, etinolol, etc. So the stem indicates the class examples, right? So these are some of the approved names according to WHO. These generic names are termed as international non-proprietary names. So these are generally remembered by common people. They are generally short and easily remembered, meaningful, right? And we have some more examples like Pril. Pril, if the name of the drug is ending with Pril, it comes under the category ACE inhibitors, angiotensin, converting enzyme inhibitor, captopril. Examples are captopril, enalapril, etc. In the same way, vastatin, atorvastatin, HMG-CoA inhibitors, sartans, losartan, it belongs to the category angiotensin antagonist. So these are some of the list of WHO international non-proprietary names. So once a person or a company develop a drug into a medicine, they can approach either national formulary bodies of a specific country, or they can directly apply to WHO INN program. We'll get the generic name, which will be very commonly remembered, which will be very short, concise and meaningful. So these are all considered as approved names. This is one class of generic names, and the other class is official names. These are generally given by National Pharmacopoeia Commission. So these are officially given by National Pharmacopoeia Commission, and it is generally included in the first book, that is Pharmacopoeia. So these names are generally officially included in the first book, that is Pharmacopoeia. They are generally given by National Pharmacopoeia Commission. So these names are termed as official names. These official names should be matched with approved names. So according to NPC, paracetamol is named as acetaminophen, so which is matching with the approved name given by USAN. So this acetaminophen is the name given by NPC, National Pharmacopoeia Commission, which is matching with the approved name given by United States Approved Name Society for paracetamol, that is acetaminophen, right? So these are all about generic names. We have discussed about chemical name, generic name. Next we are coming for trade name. Third type of name is trade name, which is also named as brand name, or which is also named as proprietary name. So it is a name given to a drug which has some proprietary rights. A pharmaceutical company or a person who have developed a drug into a medicine can sell the drug by a name. That person or a company will have the rights to sell a drug. So to own a drug. So that ownership, we call it as rights of a person or a company for the name of the drug. So that name we call it as a trade name or brand name or proprietary name of a drug. So it should start with a capital letter and it should be distinguished by a superscript R with a circle, right? So generally these trade names, one drug may have many brand names or trade names by many pharmaceutical companies. Example, Lipitor. Lipitor is a brand name given by Pfizer, in US for a drug which is generally called as atorvastatin. So for atorvastatin drug in US, the Pfizer company has given the brand name Lipitor. The same company Pfizer has given the brand name Atocor in India for the same drug atorvastatin. So for the same drug atorvastatin, the Pfizer company in India and in US has given two brand names. In India, it is named as Atocor and in US it is named as Lipitor, right? So these are the means one drug have two brand names by same company or one drug may have many brand names by many pharmaceutical companies. So one drug may have many names or two names or a single name. So that name will have some rights by a company. So this company will have the rights on this drug. So these names are called as brand names which have rights or ownership of by this company. So these names are called as brand names or trade names or trademark names or proprietary names, right? So in a label of a drug, first generic name should be mentioned and then it should be followed by trade name. Example, doxorubicin is a generic name. Adriamycin is a trade name. So this is a generic name, it is a trade name. So on a label of a drug, first generic name should be mentioned, which should be starts with lowercase, and it should be followed by a trade name which should start with capital letter, and it should be distinguished with superscript R in the circle. So the label of the drug should be like this. Example I have given. So these are all about nomenclature, the systematic naming of the drugs and the names of a drug. Chemical name, generic name, trade name. So we'll see some examples. Chemical name, generic name, trade name. Paracetamol. So it has some trade names, Tylenol or Calpol, etc. I have given only two names. Generally it is named as acetyl salicylic acid. So it's the trade name of the drug aspirin. So chemical name of this is N-acetyl paraminophenol. N-acetyl paraminophenol is a chemical name of the drug of paracetamol. This is 2-acetoxy benzoic acid. So the structures of these drugs are paracetamol, this is N-acetyl paraminophenol. This is a para position. These are two are para to each other. Paraminophenol. So this is a chemical name to the paracetamol, which cannot be remembered common people. So generally it is named as paracetamol. By trade name it is named as Tylenol or Calpol or other names, right? Next example is 2-acetoxy benzoic acid. Benzene with carboxylic acid, we call it as benzoic acid. Consider this is the first, this is the second number. 2-acetoxy. So 2-acetyl benzoic acid, acetoxy benzoic acid is the chemical name given to the drug acetyl salicylic acid, generally which is called it as acetyl salicylic acid, and trade name it is named as aspirin by other names. So these two are examples of two drugs which can be called by three names: chemical name, generic name, and trade name. So chemical name is given based upon the structure. and generic name is given upon the category of the drug to which it belongs. Trade name is given by the pharmaceutical company or a person depending upon the names, right? So, this is all about nomenclature of drugs.